Dear viewers, this is my 29th video. In this video, I speak on a very impressive story, that is after birth, what is there? That is death. So, both birth and death are one and the same, in fact, because they are the two sides of a coin. They are like two sides of a coin. When birth is there, definitely it will be followed by death. Therefore, I say it is an inspiring story. Inspiring, because one should not forget that they don't have, they cannot avoid, they cannot avoid death. Yeah, when they are born, yes, it is unavoidable that birth is followed by awaiting death. No, death awaited. Death is awaited in respect to everyone born on this earth, in this cosmos. You know. So therefore, I say it is a kind of special story. The topic itself is very special. So I want to speak on this special topic, that is human death, not an event but a process. This is my topic. Human death, not an event but a process. It is not a sudden event, a sudden incident like accident. It is a process, ongoing process since the time a person is born. Yes, the process of death also slowly is in the way, See, in terms of chemistry, human death is nothing but a molecular disintegration. In the video number 28, I said very clearly, human birth, nothing but molecular integration. So the opposite, quite opposite process is death. That is, molecular disintegration is death. So, in terms of chemistry, human death is nothing but a molecular disintegration. It is an inevitable incident occurring in respect of every living organism, including humans. Even the virus, which is not considered as a living organism, get destroyed or undergoes molecular disintegration over time. And in respect of the virus, it is not termed as death, but only a destruction, because it is not a living entity. Death occurs in the individual cells or tissues of the living organisms. This is termed as necrosis or cell death. Living organisms which could be able to survive all calamities eventually die due to old age, termed as senescence. Aging process occurs due to decline in cellular activity and deterioration of regular function. All the living organisms such as animals, plants and microbes which could survive external hazards due to their biological functioning eventually die from biological aging, otherwise referred to as senescence. See the beautiful stories, the other side. Some organisms experience negligible senescence. That means they exhibit biological immortality. Biological immortality. Immortality. For example, jellyfish, its scientific name is Teratopsis, dorine, the hydra, and the planarian. Unnatural causes of death are suicide, radiation, and accident. These are unnatural causes of death. Suicide, radiation, and accident. Unnatural death. Roughly 1,50,000 people die around the world each day. This is the story, real story, fact it is. Physiological death is not an event but a process, ongoing process since the time of birth. The health conditions which indicate the start of the process of death are reversible and lifespan can be extended as per the research today. The dividing line between life and death in the process of death depends on the factors and the presence or absence of vital signals. A person with working heart and lungs determined to be brain dead can be pronounced legally dead. This is termed as legal death. When the blood circulation and breathing stop, it is called clinical death. This occurs generally when the heart stops working, a condition called cardiac arrest. Earlier, stoppage of blood circulation was considered to be irreversible, but today, the invention of cardiopulmonary resuscitation (CPR), defibrillation, epinephrine injection, and other treatments in 20th century, cardiac arrest and stoppage of blood circulation is called clinical death rather than death, keeping the possibility of post-arrest resuscitation. At the onset of clinical death, consciousness is lost within several seconds. Measurable brain activity stops within 20 to 40 seconds. During clinical death, all tissues and organs in the body steadily accumulate a type of injury called ischemic injury. Most tissues and organs of the human's body can survive clinical death for considerable time. Blood circulation can't be stopped in the entire body below the heart for at least 30 minutes, with injury to the spinal cord being a limiting factor. Detached limbs can be reattached after 6 hours of no blood circulation at warm temperature. Bone, tendon, and skin can survive as long as 8 to 12 hours. However, the brain gets ischemic injury faster than any other organ. Without special treatment, after circulation is restarted, full recovery of the brain after more than 3 minutes of clinical death at normal body temperature is very rare. Brain damage later, brain death results after longer intervals of clinical death, even if the heart is restarted and blood circulation is successfully restored. Brain injury is the chief limiting factor for recovery from clinical death. Although loss of function is almost immediate, there is no specific duration of clinical death at which the non-functioning brain clearly dies. The most vulnerable cells in the brain, CA1 neurons of the hippocampus, are fatally injured by as little as 10 minutes without oxygen. However, the injured cells do not actually die until hours after resuscitation. This delayed death can be prevented in vitro by a simple drug treatment even after 20 minutes without oxygen. In other areas of the brain, viable human neurons have been recovered and grown in culture hours after clinical death. Brain death is the complete loss of brain function, including involuntary activity necessary to sustain life. It differs from persistent vegetative state in which the person is alive and some autonomic function remain. It is also distinct from an ordinary coma, whether induced medically or caused by injury or illness, even if it is very deep, as long as some brain and bodily activity and function remain, and it is also not the same as the condition locked in syndrome. A differential diagnosis can medically distinguish these differing conditions. Brain death is synchronous with cerebral death, death of the cerebrum. Brain death means both cerebrum and brainstem stop functioning. If the person's cerebrum stops functioning but brainstem is functioning, spontaneous breathing will continue. In the case of whole brain death, both cerebrum and brainstem are not working, only life support equipment would maintain ventilation. Such people can become eligible for organ donation. So this is the other side of the story of death. Death is not an event but a process. When the death process begins, the following symptoms can be noticeable: decreasing appetite, sleeping more, becoming less social, changing vital signs, blood pressure drops, breathing rhythm changes, heartbeat becomes irregular, heartbeat may be hard to detect, urine may be brown, tan or rust colored, implying the shutting down of the kidneys, toilet habits change, changing toilet habits, and weakening muscles, dropping body temperature, experiencing confusion, increasing pains, decreasing threshold of pain in the brain, and experiencing hallucinations, organs shutting down one by one slowly, breathing trouble suddenly changes speed and pauses in between breaths. Thus, human death is not an event but a process happening slowly in several steps and several days in several stages. So, dear viewers, thank you for watching this interesting and fantastic sad story of death. Kindly share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.